Welcome to the Airgun Show. We've got a very special gun on test this week, the limited edition Daystate Genus. But before that, we're joining Andy Watkins on a pest control session. Right, I'm out after squirrels today. It looks like we should have quite a nice day for it. We actually shot a video here a few weeks ago and I talked about the serious damage that the squirrels are causing to the trees here. And with that in mind, the landowner does want their numbers reduced quite significantly. So to that end, I've set up a feeding station using peanuts as bait because at this time of year there's quite a lot of natural food about. So I want something that's got maximum attraction. Actually using a new feeder today, so I'm eager to see how it fares. It's one from Squirrel Management UK. It seems to be very tough, certainly seems to be squirrel proof. It's also got a 5mm metal faceplate on it. It's the FAC version, so it should stand up to a few pellet strikes. It's also got a little spinning target on it, which is quite novel. And that, I think, is just if you have an inexplicable miss, you can check your zero on that target. Now, I've had this particular feeder in position for about a fortnight now. The peanuts are going very quickly, so it seems like there are quite a few squirrels coming to it. So as well as a new feeder, I'm also trying out a new gun. Now, we reviewed the FX Impact MkII a couple of months ago now. I was really impressed with it and I've been itching to get it out on a hunting session. I've done a lot of practice with it and I'm really confident in how it performs and how I shoot with it. I also like the fact that being such a compact gun, it should handle really nicely in the confines of the hide. It's kitted out with 28 shot side shot magazine. So massive shot capacity. I'll be very surprised if we get through that today, but you never know. So that's the tactics and the kit that I'm going to be using for today's shoot. I've already got a hide in position, so I'm going to get myself settled in and hopefully we'll see a few squirrels. Oh, I don't want to make too much noise now that we're in the hide. But I'm set up about 20 metres from the feeder, so fairly comfortable shots, and also with the support of the sticks here, there really won't be any excuse for missing any chances that I do get.
And the first chance comes very quickly, as is often the case when squirrels have developed a taste for peanuts.
I didn't think we'd have to wait very long for our first chance. That one took a peanut and headed straight to the top of the feeder. It dangled for quite a while, but anybody that does any amount of squirrel shooting will be well accustomed to that. They are effectively stone dead. They just tend to clench up, which can make them hang on for a while. Well, it's nice to see there are a few birds coming to the feeder because the squirrels usually tend to bully them away.
But it's not just songbirds dropping in to feed, and it's not very long before another squirrel turns up.
Another one off the top of the feeder there, and another dangler. Cheeky sods bled all over my new feeder as well.
The second kill is followed by a bit of a lull in activity at the feeder. Not that I'm complaining, there are certainly worse places to while away the time. It's not a very long wait though, and I'm soon back in action as another greedy squirrel shows up.
Well, that one froze. I think it either spotted me or one of the cameras. Either way, it was definitely spooked. So I took it where it was. Again, it hung on for an absolute age, but I could clearly see through the scope that it had been shot right through the top of its head. So again, it was a good clean kill.
The squirrels are coming thick and fast now. Peanuts aren't the cheapest bait to use at a feeding station, but they certainly work well.
And yet another dangler. It didn't have to bleed out while it was hanging though. That squirrel wouldn't have had a clue what hit it. Well, they certainly are hanging on today. That was another clean headshot though, and it's got more blood on my shiny new feeder. There was another squirrel behind the tree then, but it cleared off before I could get a shot at it. Hopefully it'll be back before too long, because there certainly are a heck of a lot of squirrels around here. Well, that one didn't dangle, although I did think it was just going to stay with its head in the feed tray at one point. Another one off the tree there, and it dropped like a coconut.
Time is wearing on, but the peanuts are really working their magic and squirrels are still coming to the feeder.
That's how you want them to drop. I'm going to make that the last one because Nikki needs to get going, but what a great first session it's been for the Impact MkII. I was pretty optimistic that we'd probably get 4 or 5 squirrels here, but we've had a lot more than that, and that's going to make a really good contribution to efforts to drive down their numbers over the coming weeks and months. I'm in no doubt at all that there are plenty more squirrels to be shot from this position, so I'm going to leave the hide in situ and wrap up by refilling the feeder, ready for another session pretty soon. I've already had more squirrels from that feeder, and now it's the Airgun Show news.
This is the Airgun Show news. The general licences have been restored, partially at least. 3 new general licences were released 2 weeks ago, covering most shooting undertaken in England for pest control and crop protection. BASC said these new licences are fit for purpose in most circumstances, but the approach to protected sites such as SSSIs is still under debate. BASC Chief Executive Ian Bell said, "We appreciate that it's not a perfect situation and there may still be some confusion. The organisations will continue to be on hand to steer our members through." It's been confirmed that shooting won't feature at all in the 2022 Commonwealth Games in Birmingham. The Games Executive Board decided to add women's cricket, beach volleyball and para-table tennis to the programme, but shooting and archery's bids have both failed. The ISSF said it hadn't been consulted at any point since it made its presentation to Games organisers in December, and said the decision decreases the popularity of the Commonwealth Games. It could be about to get a lot more expensive to run a shooting club. The fee for Home Office club approval is set to increase from £84 to more than £400, according to the results of a government consultation. Thankfully, other planned fee increases have been shelved, such as the fee museums need to pay to be able to display firearms. BASC said the Home Office needs to be transparent about how it arrived at the final fees. And finally, medical involvement in firearms licensing has hit the headlines once again. Greater Manchester Police announced it will change its firearms policy to require GP involvement from the point of application. Home Office guidance says this should only occur if an applicant declares a relevant position. BASC pointed out that this was preempting a consultation on the licensing process, which will kick off in just a few weeks. Bill Harriman said that shooters will be rightly aggrieved that a police force is making unnecessary, punitive changes to policy without letting government do its work first. That was the Airgun Show news.
A few months ago I reviewed the Zbroia Kozak, a great little Ukrainian semi-bullpup supplied by Pellpax. This week I'm taking a look at the Kozak in its FC or fully compact version, which is a full bullpup and also has a few other interesting differences. It's also supplied by Pellpax and costs a relatively affordable £619.99. Because of its bullpup configuration, this is an extremely compact airgun. It's just 71 centimetres long, which is almost exactly the same as the semi-bullpup, yet it has a significantly longer barrel and a bigger cylinder. This is the 450-230 model, which has a 45 centimetre barrel and a 230cc cylinder. It weighs in at just under 3 kilos unscoped, and it feels great in the shoulder. There is also a 550-290 model available, which has a 55 centimetre barrel and a 290cc cylinder. Both versions come in an ambidextrous stock that's available in either brown wood or this black wood option, which is actually a very dark grey. The stock is a little bit more blocky and angular than the one on the semi-bullpup, but it still serves as a very good handle. There's no checkering or stippling on the stock, but the fore end does have a nice deep groove running along both sides, and it doesn't feel at all slippery. The pistol grip is very steep, practically vertical. Behind it is a nice large thumb hole cutaway, and the whole setup makes for a really good trigger attack. Typical of most bullpup airguns, the cheek support is pretty basic. However, it isn't sharp and it feels comfortable enough. The stock is finished with a hard rubber butt pad, which is also fairly basic, though it does its job well enough and creates a nice snug fit in the shoulder. Build quality and the standard of engineering far exceed this little airgun's price tag. It feels very solid, but it doesn't feel at all clunky in use. The black anodised finish of the metalwork is really neat, and it has a nice matte finish which helps to prevent it from flashing conspicuously in bright conditions. One thing I really like about this Kozak and the semi-bullpup is the fact that their Picatinny scope rails are positioned lower to the barrel than those on a lot of bullpup airguns. That means you can make your scope fairly low so the setup doesn't feel too high-sided. Another nice touch is the supplied quick release stud, which pushes into the fore end and tightens up with an Allen key to provide a very secure attachment for a bipod or sling. As I've already mentioned, this gun has a 45cm barrel and it's housed inside a fairly slim shroud. There is a thread so you can attach an additional silencer, but the shroud actually serves as a very effective moderator, and I don't think I would really want to spoil this airgun's stubby proportions by attaching an additional silencer to it. Power delivery is consistent, and variation with this one has been around 5 or 6 feet per second over a 12-shot string with pellets taken straight from the tin. Muzzle energy is around 11.4 foot-pounds, and you can expect around 100 shots from the full 250 bar fill. I reckon that most shooters are more likely to be filling it to 200 or 230 bar, and you can still expect a fairly healthy return from that. Filling with air is very simple. Just unscrew the collar at the front of the cylinder to expose the inlet and then push in the supplied quick fill connector. The gun actually comes with 2 connectors, one that's threaded and one with a Foster attachment. There's a pressure gauge at the front of the cylinder. It appears to be very accurate, but it's just a bit of a shame that you have to look down from the muzzle end to see it. The side cocking lever isn't reversible, which is going to be a bit of a nuisance for left-handers. It is smooth though, and it's worked without any hiccups during testing. The rear stroke cocks the action and indexes the magazine, and the forward stroke probes home the pellet into the breech. And you can't double load it, which I think is a great feature. At the heart of the system is a 12-shot magazine in this 177 version, or a 10-shot if you go for 2.2. It's held in place by sprung ball bearings and snaps out from the right-hand side once the side lever is pulled all the way back. It looks basic, but it works brilliantly, and it's very pellet friendly. And you get 2 supplied with the gun. The trigger is very good, especially by bullpup standards. I really like the flat face of the gently curved blade, which gives plenty of feel. Straight from the box, this trigger feels very similar to the one on the semi-bullpup version. First stage travel is extremely short, and the second stage let-off is light but predictable. The safety catch setup is quite different from the one on the semi-bullpup. Rather than being just above the trigger, it's right in front of it. I'd rather it was further away from the blade, but I do appreciate that a lot of shooters really like this setup. It's safe when it's in the backwards position, and you simply flick it forwards when you're ready to take the shot. The Zbroia Kozak FC is a nice looking bullpup with some great features. I'm going to pop out a target now for the usual accuracy test so I can show you what it shoots like. Well, I like that. Because I don't often shoot bullpups, it does take a little bit of getting used to for me, having that cocking lever so far back, but it is nice and smooth to operate. The trigger is lovely and predictable. So we've got a very, very slight right to left breeze today, which has pushed that group fractionally off to the left, but really not very much. So that's 30 meters, 5 shots through the 177 caliber test gun, and I'm really, really pleased with that group. I think it certainly proves that this setup is well up to live quarry shooting. Well, look, that's 30 meters. It's going to do it comfortably beyond that too. I think the Zbroia Kozak FC is a brilliant little gun, and I can really see it appealing to hunters who want a compact and relatively lightweight airgun. I'm also really impressed with its pricing, and its quality, features and performance certainly go well beyond the norm of an airgun that costs little more than £600. And Pellpax can even deliver it direct to your door.
Look out for the new and improved Airgun Shooter magazine, packed full of technique, gear and insight from some of the best shooters in the industry. Brand new look and free video content. Pick up your copy today in stores or online.
That's all for this week, but we'll be back again in a fortnight. Thank you for watching, and please don't forget to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. And if you aren't already a member of the BASC, have a look at their website and check out the benefits you could be taking advantage of through Airgun membership.